Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is ethnic groups and their impact upon governance in Africa. And we're fortunate to have with us once again to talk about ethnic groups and the part that these groups play in helping to create a government in Africa, Dr. LMadu1. And Dr. LMadu1, let me welcome you to the show again and to, in a real sense, be prepared to be really informed in a real sense as to some of the real problems on the continent of Africa today. And of course, let's start off by having you to give us some statements in reference to when we make the statement ethnic groups and their impact upon governance in Africa. What are we saying in reality?
Well, like I said before, when people talk about ethnic groups in Africa, they use the word tribes, instead of ethnic groups. That word tribe, in the dictionary talks about uncivilized, group of people. And that term, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't have any place.
It's not a sociological correct kind of term
exactly.
that you would use in terms of, okay, well, let's talk about ethnic groups now.
In the modern world, when you had the wars in the Balkans, you talked about ethnic groups. When you talked about the Bosnians, the Montenegrins, and the Serbians, the Croats, you name it, they said the ethnic groups. And so in Africa, what you have is ethnic groups, not tribes, which is very important. So we have over, I would say, 3,000 ethnic groups in Africa. And the significant thing about these groups is that none of them can understand each other's language because of colonialism. Those ethnic groups in the countries that were governed by the Portuguese, speak Portuguese as their common denominator. Those from the English-speaking countries do the same. The French-speaking countries do the same. So what you have is a profusion of languages, the common denominator being a colonial language. And that's, it's creating a lot of problems in terms of communication and writing books, even on the continent. Having said that, let's look at some of the most important ethnic groups in Africa. By that I mean ethnic groups that have at least 10 million and over, population-wise. You have the Berbers, who predominate in Morocco, Algeria, parts of Libya, parts of Tunisia. You have the Chewa, and you find them in Zambia, Mozambique, Malawi, Tanzania, in all these countries. You have the Swana, you find them in Botswana. You have the Kikuyu. The Kikuyu, you find them in Kenya. You have the Shona. The Shona, you find them in Zimbabwe. You also find them in Mozambique. The Igbo, find them in Nigeria. The Hausa, you find them in Nigeria. You might find them in Ghana, Togo, Chad, Niger, Cameroon. Then you have the Mandinka. The Mandinkas, you find them in Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Gambia, Senegal, you name it. The Wolof, find them in Senegal. The Baganda, you find them in Uganda. Then you have the Akan. The Ashanti, they are a subgroup of the Akan. Find them in Ghana. You also find them in the Ivory Coast. The Bole ethnic group, the largest group in Ivory Coast, is part of the Akan, group. Then you have the Afars and Isars, so you call them the Somalis. You find them in Somalia, in Djibouti, in Ethiopia. Then you have the Tigray. You find the Tigray in Ethiopia and in Eritrea. Then you have the Dinka. You find the Dinkas in South Sudan. You have the Fulanese, or they call them the Fula. It depends in which country. You find them in Nigeria, Cameroon, Mali, Niger, Chad, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Burkina Faso, you know, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone, all over the place, over 40, 50 million strong. So these are some of the, you know, most important ethnic groups.
And Dr. Duke, let's stop for this first commercial break, but this is just fascinating in terms of these individual groups, and we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.